Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this Collegium lecture with Dr. Ming Wang. My name is Autumn Kennedy, and I'm the Beadle of New College Franklin, which means that I am the student representative of the college to the outside world. New College Franklin is a 4-year Christian liberal arts college dedicated to excellent academics and a community of discipleship. Under the lordship of Jesus Christ, New College Franklin educates students through the liberal arts for wisdom, virtue, and service. The Collegium lecture series at New College Franklin features lectures by faculty and distinguished guests. These lectures explore the rich intersection of the classical tradition, Christianity, and contemporary life, fostering intellectual discourse within the college community and beyond. You can find more information about the Collegium lecture series on our website. Our schedule for tonight's Collegium will progress as follows. First, Dr. Wang will give his lecture entitled Appreciating Freedom in America by Finding Common Ground. Then, Dr. Nathan Johnson will join Dr. Wang for a time of Q&A, and you all are encouraged to ask questions related to the lecture during that time. Dr. Wang will also be at the table at the back of the sanctuary, and he would love to answer any further questions that you have. You may also note that there are free copies of Dr. Wang's books in the pews. Please feel free to take one of those. Thank you all for joining us tonight, and now Dr. Johnson will introduce our speaker.
Thank you, Autumn. Well, it's my privilege tonight to welcome Dr. Ming Wang to us. He is a Harvard and MIT graduate and is one of the few laser eye surgeons in the world who holds a doctorate degree in laser physics. He has performed over 55,000 laser vision surgeries. I don't know if I've done anything 55,000 times, including tying my shoes, including on over 4,000 doctors. The Angel Studios film Sight, which I would encourage all of you to see, is based on Dr. Wang's autobiography. As a teenager, Dr. Wang fought poverty and hardship in China and came to America with only $50, using some of that to buy 4 Big Macs when he got here. He earned 2 doctorate degrees, one in laser physics and one in medicine, and graduated with the highest honors from Harvard Medical School and MIT. Amniotic membrane contact lens, which Dr. Wang invented and for which he donated his patents to the world, has been used by tens of thousands of eye doctors in nearly every nation, and millions of patients have been helped. The Wang Foundation for Sight Restoration has helped patients from over 40 states in the U.S. and 55 countries, with all sight restoration surgeries performed free of charge. Dr. Wang was named the Kiwanis Nashvillian of the Year for his lifelong dedication to help blind orphan children from around the world. We're very blessed to have Dr. Wang. Please join me in welcoming him.
Kayla, that's one of the weird things, is that the cursor is auto-advancing. So I need to go back. And question, Dean Nathan, is there any way there's a setting can turn the PPT part of the light down a little bit so they can see the PPT itself better, or they can still see my face? Oh, yes, keep on going. Trying to lower as much as you can, still maintain illumination on my face. Can you go even down? Because we have some interesting images that you're going to be able to see in the sharper count. Let's go ahead and turn off the back, it's fine. It's like a movie theater. Yep, yes. And now the only thing is if there's any way to lower. If not, this is perfect.
Do we know how to turn this sideways?
Yes. Yes. Right. Twilight. Hello, good evening, everyone. I want to thank everyone for coming, for President Patton, Nathan, Dean Nathan, for the wonderful invitation. And Khalib for the help today. And it's great to see all of you. I've learned quite a bit about your school already, the new college. And during the Q&A session, in addition to your asking questions, I'll be asking you questions about your experience in this college, so I can learn something as well. So tonight, I'm going to take you all for a journey of searching for truth. The title of my presentation is "The Eye Has Convinced Me There's a God." When I was talking to President Patton and Dean Nathan earlier, I recognized that what the new college represents is precisely what I've been trying to do all my life. That is to search the convergence of science and faith. And typically, we find God through Scripture, through Bible, through the teachings of other Christians. But today, I'm going to talk about, actually, I found God through science. So I want to share the experience and also to ask ourselves this question. We're living in a very divided world today. Faith, Christians over here, atheists over here. Faith and science seems to be not mixable. I always have a problem that a pastor on Sunday say, "Ladies and gentlemen, I got a headache, but I don't believe this medicine pill stuff. Can you all pray for me?" That's all I believe. Okay? Then Monday morning, the same pastor pick up the phone and call the doctor. There's inconsistency. There's no weaker statement of our truth, our faith, than we ourselves being inconsistent. You might have seen the Christian film called God's Not Dead many years ago. In that movie, there's this cute student who came from China, was an atheist. At the end of the movie, the experience in America convinced him there's a God. He was the first one in the classroom, stood up, said, "God is not dead." That student was me. It was my story, the movie God's Not Dead. Notice that I used the word cute. So I want to take us, all of you, through the journey that I have been. I was talking to President Patton that my wife and I and my mother-in-law last night saw Odyssey. At the end, you say, what is that movie really truly about? It is about a man who always wants to learn. When the ship passed through an island with all these beautiful ladies trying to distract people's attention by singing beautiful songs, and those are fatal songs because you jump in the water, you're going to be killed. Odysseus did not want himself to be plucked ear like the rest of other crewmen, but he knew that it would be hard for him to resist the temptation either, so he asked them to not pluck the ear, but tie him down. So he had no choice to jump overboard to these beautiful siren ladies. That's Odysseus. Be curious. Always wants to know. It is a mistake for Christians not to be curious. It's a mistake for us not to learn the new things. Because there's no weaker statement of our faith when medicine is so fast developing today. Somebody tell you that there's a stem cell research, there's AI, and they say, what's stem cell? If Christians are closed by ourselves, not learning new things, we are going to become irrelevant in the modern, fast technological-driven society. The most fascinating breakthrough in medicine occurred yesterday. One of the most fascinating in the last 100 years in medicine. That is, in medicine, our number one challenge is the individual variability. Like if you come to me for eye surgery, I can't just apply the treatment as it used for everybody else on you, because nobody is the same. Our eye dimension is variable. Everybody's different. There are 8 billion anatomical structure of the eye. So in medicine, we are faced with this tremendous individual variability. How do you treat them in a customized way? The recent breakthrough is we figure out a way, I'm part of the research team, figure out a way to come down the accuracy of measurement of your eye to sub-micron resolution. 1 micron is 1,000th of a millimeter. And with this advancement, I'm now able to correct vision surgeries to an astounding 0.25 micron resolution. That means I do all your eye surgeries, the difference between you, how I customize my treatment to you, the laser programming, is within quarter micron error, the error bar. That laser I use every day is the reason for out of the last 4 years, 2 of the last 4 years, Nobel Prize winners in physics. The invention of that laser. They invented the laser, I'm using it. I've been part of the research team in applying for eye surgery. And that laser is 10 to the minus 15 seconds. That's 0.0000014 zeros 1 second. Can you imagine that being produced by our mere hands? Can you imagine that being done without the accuracy, the incredible advancement of science? Today I want to share with you that God wants science and faith to work together. Because He loves us. He wants us to be happy. He wants us to improve the quality of our lives. And the quality of life is improved today in medicine is through research. But is it just research without moral guidance and the faith principles? That's wrong also. Atomic energy is wonderful. Use wisely, atomic nuclear plant. If used wrongly, atomic bomb. Sitting in your chairs today as a student in college, this wonderful new college here, in year 2026. We are now beginning to be impacted by AI. AI has not only 10 to the 10th power expansion of human capabilities, but AI also has the potential to be 1 million times or more destructive than atomic bomb. Future warfare will not be decided on battlefield with bombs. It's going to be completely screwed up your entire AI system. At this juncture, we as Christians need to recognize that God wants us to use our faith principles to take the high land of technology, high ground, to be able to guide research using our faith. But if you want to guide research, you have to know what it is. People talk about stem cells, the femtosecond laser I use every day. You have to know what it is. You have to be able to converse with the best scientists. So that's what I want to share with you today, is that I discovered God through science, and I recognize what God really wants me to do is to combine faith and science together. So the NGO Studios film site, you have little handouts that you can watch the film free. By the NGO Studio, they put out Chosen, the Bible story, Sound of Freedom. Now they are releasing Sight. It's about what I'm talking about today. Let's see. Okay. In terms of bio, I will not repeat, but I just pointed out two things. One, I developed a technology that actually shows that God wants science and faith to truly work together, which I'll explain. Second, we've been using the technology to help blind orphan children from around the world. And that's the subject of the film Sight. At the end of today, I will have 3 takeaways. I will challenge all of you as I'm presenting this, what are the 3 takeaways? But not only that, I'm going to challenge all of us, 1 action plan. The take-home message today will be, what are the 3 key messages, and what is 1 action plan? And that action plan is different from one person to the other. So what is your action plan? My journey of finding God took me a long, long time. I grew up in China during Cultural Revolution. Can you imagine a government of such a big country like China shut down all universities and colleges of an entire country for 10 years, all colleges, and forcefully deported every single high school graduate to labor camp for life. For life. Over 10 years of Cultural Revolution, from 1966 to 76, by shutting down all universities and colleges in China, they sent away to labor camp for life 20 million young people. 1974, I was 14. I finished my junior high. I was a good student. I studied very hard. My parents always encouraged me to study. I was a straight A, but it made no difference. The moment I finished my junior high, age 14, I was going to be sent away to labor camp, just like 20 million others, for life. In the film Sight, you see that my dad said, you need to play this 2-string Chinese violin called erhu, E-R-H-U. So repeat after me, erhu. One more time, erhu. Good. You all can speak Chinese now. And that's part of the mission of this school as well, as I learned from President Patton and Dean Nathan, is it's about opening your mind to recognize we're living in a very diverse world today, learning about different culture and nations. So coming back, I have to learn this Chinese violin, erhu, because if I could do that, if I could dance, I can get into the government song and dance troupe, therefore avoid being sent away to labor camp, just like 20 million others. But that didn't work. Government still is going to be sending me away to labor camp for life, just like 20 million others. Right then, I got lucky. 1976 came along, 10 years in the Cultural Revolution ended. In the movie Sight, you see my parents came home. Dad gave me a newspaper. He said, Ming, you might be to go back to school. I thought I would never be to hear that because after junior high, I got kicked out of school. I was not allowed to go to senior high. I was going to be sent over to labor camp. Now there's a chance to go to school. I said, really? When? Mom said, maybe tomorrow. I said, should I go back to 9th grade? Because 3 years ago, I got kicked out of school after 9th grade. In the last 3 years, I've been out of school. I've been playing music instrument, learning dancing, all to avoid labor camp. Now there's a chance to go back to school. Should I go back to 9th or 10th? Guess what my dad said? Higher. 10th, higher. Tomorrow, next day, 11th, higher. I said, wait a minute, you want me to go back to school, but you want me to jump 3 years ahead overnight? Never studied 10th, 11th, 12th. Become 12th graders overnight. Yes. I said, why? They said only 12th graders are allowed to go allowed to participate in college entrance exam. The first college entrance exam in China in 10 years. I said, why can't I just go back to 9th grade or 10th grade and study every year and participate in the college exam 3 years from then? Why do I have to do something so impossible? Jump 3 years ahead. I said, by the way, what percentage of the graduating class could get into college? They said less than 1%. I said, why so small? He said, there are 10 years of backlog of students. When they finish high school from 1966 to 76, they were not allowed to go to colleges because all the universities shut down. So all the students are coming back in 1976 to apply for college. So there are 10 times more applicants. Let me get this straight. You want me to go back to school tomorrow, never study 10th, 11th, 12th, and jump straight into 12th grade, somehow study 3 years worth of high school in my dreams tonight, and compete against other 12th graders for that less than 1% chance of getting to college? Mom said yes. I said, you're crazy. So let me ask you, why did my parents want me to do something so impossible, so almost cruel? Want me to just jump ahead rather than allow me to sequentially participate, go back to 9th or 10th and, apply for college 3 years from there? Why did they not want me to wait at all? The answer to this question is the very point of my talk tonight. See, as human beings, when we always say something, we do take for granted. People who appreciate sight the most are those who used to be blind. People who appreciate freedom the most are those who used to not have freedom. Here in America, sometimes we have taken the freedom that we always have had for granted. And then you say, wait, Dr. Wang, why you say that? What evidence that we have that Americans today have taken what we have, the blessing, live in a country with freedom and faith for granted? And I'll give you one example showing that perhaps we have taken for granted, because we are, as a nation, America today, we are so divided. We're so unwilling to work across political aisles, racial divides, and ethnic divisions. We're so fixated on differences rather than appreciating what we all have in common as fellow Americans. The division, the unwillingness to work across political aisles, racial divides, and ethnic divisions is a symptom reflecting a deeper problem. That is, we have taken what we have for granted. Because if you take for granted, you don't appreciate it. If you don't appreciate, you think no big deal. If America is not progressing, America interest is hurt because the partisanship and all that. Because we think we're going to have tomorrow just as fine, right? But for people who never had freedom, my parents during Cultural Revolution, for 10 years, there's no freedom, no college. When freedom appeared briefly, they treasured it. They said, the reason we want you to jump ahead like this, because what if the government shut down colleges again next year for another 10 years? So maybe this year is the only time you can get into college for the rest of your life. So the moral of the story is, can we as a people, Americans today, rise above our division and polarization? Rise above the division between ethnicity, races, cultural differences. Recognize that we're so blessed to live in a country with freedom and faith. Let's protect that before we lose it. So I have to listen to my parents. I have to study very hard. Fortunately, I did. They drove me really hard. They make me study 15 hours a day. And I got into college, and then 1982, with $50, I came to this country. I came with almost nothing, just at $50 with a Chinese English dictionary, knowing no one in this country, could hardly speak English. In the movie side, you see, I came with 2 other guys. We were 3 of the poor students on campus, but each of us were all in 3-piece suit because Mom spent 2 months of her salary back in China, bought me that 3-piece suit. She goes, "You're going to America. They dress very nicely there." Then 3 guys show up on American campus. We're completely out of place because I realized people are so casual. People are in blue jeans, shirts, sandals, So 3 of us may be 3 of the poorest students, but we were probably the best dressed. And then I have to change because people start laughing at us all the time, right? We're walking around, there's 3 poor guys in the 3-piece suit. And by then, I only had $10 left. How do you dress like American with only $10? Salvation Army. We went in the movie, you saw that. We came out, I was dressed like American, but more people laughing. Why? I was dressed in the used clothes people used to wear, all right? But that was 1982. But I was dressed in the used clothes that people used to wear in the late 1960s. Bell-bottom pants, bright color shirts. We're more out of place. So that's a humble beginning. But I wanted to go to medical school. I got a PhD in laser physics from University of Maryland and finished post at MIT. And I went to a professor. I said, "I want to apply for med school." He looked at me. He said, "Where are you from?" I said, "China." He said, "It's hard getting med school even for American-born student. You're from China. I don't think you're any good. Don't waste your time." He just judged me based on the color of my skin, did not look at my resume. That's racial discrimination. But fortunately, I did not listen to that. I said, "You know what? After Cultural Revolution, I fought once. That was for my own future. I can fight again. But this time, not just for myself, for everyone else who has been discriminated against." So I worked even harder. So after MIT postdoc in laser physics, I got enrolled at Harvard Medical School. MIT joint MD program in 1991. I finished. I invited my parents over, thanked them. So the movie site is dedicated to my parents. The reason I got 2 doctorate degrees, one MD, one a PhD in laser physics, I'm actually one of the few laser surgeons in the world today who not only MD, but also have PhD. There's only a few of us in the world. Because medicine is so technologically driven. Half of the ophthalmology is medicine, half is technology. The femtosecond laser, I told you. So I want to be that surgeon who not only know medicine, but also know technology. I've done about 55,000, Dean Nathan mentioned, 55,000 laser vision corrections, including on over 4,000 doctors. I even went to White House, met then President Ronald Reagan. Interestingly, as I began to study science, something happened, just like the student in the movie God's Not There. I realized that human eye is so complicated that it is just not possible it can form out of randomness as atheists believe. Because not only these different components of the eye, but also the photoreceptors at the back of the eye, the retina. The light comes in, goes through the cornea on the left, and get converged, focused, goes through the lens. LASIK surgery, we operated on the cornea. Now we have a new surgery, by the way. We're making LASIK obsolete. We have better technology, which I will tell you a little bit about. And called SMILE. So that's what LASIK surgery SMILE is. Then when light goes to lens, lens is where I was talking to Dean Patton, that he's a little bit older than you, that, as you get older, the lens gets more rigid. It can't change shape anymore. It's like camera. You can't do this. So our lens is a lot harder more rigid than any of you. So what happened? You can't see things up close. For the longest time, we could not treat that condition that fixed the loss of flexibility of the lens. We didn't have the technology. For LASIK surgery, it's only for young people who get rid of distance glasses. We couldn't get rid of reading glasses. So but until a few years ago, when somebody said, say, Jonathan say, hey, Dr. Wang, I'm getting older. I can't read things close anymore. We couldn't fix the eye. So what I used to tell my patients, because LASIK surgery is only for distance, I say, Johnny, you're getting older. It's not your eye problem because we couldn't fix it. I say, just that you're getting older. Your arm's getting shorter. That's all. And they asked me, they said, oh, I appear to be very serious, right? They said, what is that called? I said, it's called short arm syndrome. So I used to tell them that if you have the short arm syndrome, you come to me, I got a fix for you. I just stretch your arm about a couple inches. That take care of it. But today, we don't have to do that. We have better technology. Don't have to stretch your arms. We can make Dean Patton, President Patton, as young as 25 and unchanged for the rest of his life. You say, really? Forever young? Yes, I will tell you. It's amazing technology. It's only through the combination of faith and science, not either one alone. So when the light hits the retina, if the eyeball is a camera, the retina is the film in the camera. And if you look at the retina, it's fascinating. There are 120 million cells, 120. And those cells in 9 months, from the moment a baby is conceived, embryo, to the moment the baby is born, 9 months, the 120 million cells has to be lined up perfectly. If one of the 120 million cells got misaligned, the person will be born blind. So let me ask you, what's the chance of 120 cells manually, recombine themselves, form a perfection without one single cell out of line? So my 8 years worldview of random evolution got into major trouble. I could not explain that. The complexity of the eye through random collision. And these photoreceptors is where the macular degeneration, some of the human aging problems, and we are tackling them right now. But not only that, the image you see, getting the eye got inverted. Every one of you, in my eyeball right now, is upside down. My brain inverted back. And they said, why is that? Is it just accident? No. It's a very, very important reason for that intentional inversion of the image. It turns out that's critically important to protect the retina from over-bleaching by too much light. Very fascinating. So our brain, even more complicated. In fact, if you take all the internet today, all the high-speed internet, all the signal goes into the fibers, all the signal, that amount of information is less than the signal which is right now going on in your brain for your vision right now, in one person's head. The number of stars, number of cells involved vision system in the brain involving vision processing. Oh, by the way, half of the brain are involved in vision. Half the neurons are for vision, to show how important vision is, right? If one sense, when that sense is lost, that's most devastating. What would you say? Probably vision. So half of our brain cells, entire head, half of the brain cells are involved in vision. But it turns out that that amount of cells in our body in one person's head is greater than the number of stars that we have ever discovered in the entire universe. So here's the problem again. How could these form out of randomness? Let me show you the video.
The human eye, a marvel of biological engineering that has puzzled scientists for centuries. How could something so intricate, so perfectly designed, come into existence through mere chance and random mutations? The answer, my friends, is simple. It couldn't. Let's dive into the extraordinary complexity of the human eye. Picture this, a spherical structure, barely an inch in diameter, yet capable of distinguishing between millions of colors, adjusting to varying light conditions in an instant, and providing us with crystal clear, three-dimensional images of the world around us. Astonishing, isn't it? Now, let's break down this incredible organ. The cornea, a transparent layer at the front of the eye, bends light as it enters. Behind it, we find the iris, that colorful part of your eye, which controls how much light enters through the pupil. Then we have the lens, constantly changing shape to focus light onto the retina at the back of the eye. But here's where it gets truly mind-boggling. The retina contains over 120 million photoreceptor cells, rods and cones, that convert light into electrical signals. These signals then travel through the optic nerve to the brain, where they're processed into the images we see. All of this happens in a fraction of a second, every single second of our waking lives. Now, proponents of evolution would have you believe that this astoundingly complex system arose through a series of random genetic mutations in natural selection. They claim that over millions of years, simple light-sensitive cells gradually evolved into the sophisticated eyes we have today. But let's think about this logically. For the eye to function, every component must be present and working perfectly. What good is a partially formed eye? An eye without a cornea would be useless. An eye without a lens couldn't focus. An eye without photoreceptors couldn't detect light. The evolutionary process would need to simultaneously develop all these intricate parts and have them work together flawlessly for the eye to provide any survival advantage. The probability of this happening by chance is so astronomically low that it borders on the impossible. It's akin to throwing a pile of electronic components into the air and expecting them to fall into place as a fully functioning smartphone. Absurd, isn't it? But wait, there's more. The human eye doesn't just see, it sees with incredible precision. Our eyes can detect a single photon of light, the smallest possible unit of light. We can distinguish between 10 million different colors. We can see a candle flame from 30 miles away on a dark, clear night. Evolution expects us to believe that random mutations produce this level of precision. It's laughable. And let's not forget about the eye's ability to adapt. In bright sunlight, our pupils constrict to let in less light. In darkness, they dilate to gather more light. This happens automatically, without conscious thought. How could such a sophisticated automatic system evolve by chance? The more we learn about the eye, the more its complexity astounds us. Did you know that your eyes make tiny movements called saccades about 3 times per second? These movements prevent your visual receptors from getting too used to a steady light and going blind. Without these movements, you'd stop seeing stationary objects. How could random mutations possibly account for such a refined mechanism? Now, let's consider the eye's connection to the brain. The optic nerve carries visual information from the eye to the brain at a rate of about 10 million bits per second. That's faster than an Ethernet connection. And the brain processes this flood of information in real time, constructing a 3-dimensional representation of our environment. The idea that this intricate system of data transmission and processing could evolve by chance is, quite frankly, preposterous. But perhaps the most compelling argument against the evolution of the eye comes from its irreducible complexity. Remove any part of the eye and the whole system fails. It's all or nothing. The eye must have come into existence as a complete, functioning unit. The alternative, that it evolved piece by piece over millions of years, defies logic and probability. So, if not evolution, then what?
So it's like in a college debate, we have to be fair. We have to give the other side the opportunity to defend themselves, right? So who would you think you're going to pick to defend the random collision evolution? How about going to the very founder of evolutionary theory, Darwin? This is what Darwin said. Very few people know that in his own book, The Origin of Species. He said, to suppose that the eye could have been formed by natural selection seems, I freely confess, absurd in the highest possible degree. So the eye, the complexity of the eye is Darwin's Achilles tendon. So it's interesting, 200 years later, I found the same thing. in my own study of the eye, the impossibility of random collision to form the complexity. So the truth is, eye is created with a purpose, and that purpose is for vision. There's a designer behind it. Psalm 139:14 said, I will give thanks to you because I'm awesomely and wonderfully made. Now, here's a challenge. Remember, I give you the task, 3 take-home messages, 1 actionable items, okay? You start thinking about what are the messages, what is the actionable items specific to you. Everybody's different. As Christians, we know God has made us. God wants us to know that. But why? Why does he want us to know that? What does he want us to do with that knowledge that he has made us? I've learned everybody's going to be different because you do different things in life. But in my case, God wants me to know that he has created me because complexity, I prove that there's a designer. And also, he has died for my sin at the cross. But he wants me to know that, and not just knowing it, he has a purpose. And that purpose is going to be different between you and me because we do different things in life. For me, I've come to realize that God wants me to do 2 things. 1, I've got this training in medicine technology, PhD, MD, and all that. He wants me to use the hard-learned medical knowledge to help those who need the most help. And people say, why do you have this foundation to help these blind orphan kids? I say, that's God's giving me purpose beyond what I normally do. And second, he wants me to be a connector, bridge the gap. Because I'm a scientist and a Christian. He wants me to be in the middle, bridging these 2 polarized, divided camps, scientists and Christians.
In its opening weekend, the movie God's Not Dead brought in an astounding $9.2 million, making it the 10th all-time highest box office Christian movie hit. And now, in its 2nd straight week, it continues to smash expectations and has brought in an additional $9 million. And you may not know it, but this small-budget film that's getting big national attention has a local connection. Take a look.
This semester, I propose that we refuse to waste our limited time together debating the existence of the big man in the sky. Fill in the papers I've just given you with 3 little words. God is dead.
I can't do what you want. I'm a Christian.
It's the story of a college student who defends God in front of his atheist professor and classmates. One of his peers he influences is a character inspired by the life of a local doctor.
The character Martin in the movie basically paralleled the life of my own. Pastor Rice actually texted me with a photo of Martin, and he said, okay, Ming, here's the guy who's going to play you. And I replied, I said, oh, at least he's better looking.
What happens in Martin's heart is something Dr. Wang remembers well.
So I grew up in China as atheist and during what they call Cultural Revolution. From 1966 to 1976, the communist government decided the best way to govern is to destroy the future of all of these young people.
His fate was a lifetime of hard labor and poverty, but a chance meeting with an American professor changed everything.
In 1982, with $50 borrowed from him, with enough money borrowed from relatives, that enough for one-way airfare, that I was dropped out National Airport, Washington, D.C. With that $50, with a Chinese English dictionary, but with a big American dream in my heart.
Ming worked hard and eventually was accepted into Harvard. There, a Christian professor took an opportunity to influence him.
He took me out for lunch, and he said, Ming, what's across the street? I said, that's a car. He said, what's the difference between car and human brain? I said, human brain is a lot more complicated. He said, okay. Can you imagine a part of random piece of metal assemble itself into a car? I said, no way. He said, how about human brain? So right and then, he opened a window in my life.
Think of Jesus as my friend. You think Jesus is God?
I saw the truth and began open myself to faith. And the same thing happened to Martin that opened himself. And there's some overlap of Joshua's character with me in the book as well, in the sense the evidence that I talk about in the book, supporting the existence of God, these evidence, the words were put into the mouth of Joshua, and he was the one who actually voiced and presented his evidence.
Dr. Wang says he finally figured out that science and faith work hand in hand.
Science is about what things are, and faith is about why things are.
Now, Dr. Wang's faith in Jesus Christ inspires everything he does. Just last year, he performed a miraculous surgery on a 15-year-old orphan from Moldova, Maria.
De la 7 ani am ajuns la școală și când am ajuns cu problemele de vedere, îmi părea că o să fie totul închis, nu o să am prieteni, dar totul s-a ales prin puterea lui Dumnezeu.
The summer of 2012, my husband and I were fortunate to be able to take our family, ourselves and our children, to Moldova. And our goal was to work at a summer camp for children that the majority of them are orphans. We walk into camp and all of a sudden there's this beautiful girl sitting there on a bench all by herself. She just looked so sad, so lonely, and her head was down and nobody was around her. And so I went up to her with a translator, and I said, hi, I introduced myself, and she told me that her name was Maria, but that's all, I could pretty much get out of her. She wouldn't look up at me, and I said, Maria, let me see your beautiful face. Let me see you. I want to see you. And she looked up at me. And it was then that I realized that she had something just terribly wrong with her eyesight. I could tell.
A year after eyeball 2012, that when we first heard about Maria came to the United States and walked into our One Vision 3D cataract and LASIK center. We sat down and I plotted out the whole sight restoration surgical plan, and involved 10 different steps. Each of the steps can have 2 possible outcomes, success or failure. And we can only get to the next step if the previous step is perfect or is successful. I know that that's a very small possibility for humans, but God is powerful. Got it. We got it. And guess what? It happened. God created a miracle. The surgery went beautifully.
I see Maria. He's, oh, careful. You see Casey? Look at Casey.
Can you see me?
Where's Maria? Look at her.
In the movie Sight, it opens with a scene. Believe it or not, this all actually happened. In Calcutta, India, there was this 5-year-old orphan, Kajol. She was sleeping one night, and her stepmother poured sulfuric acid in both of her Kajol's eyes in an attempt to make Kajol a blind orphan, who can then sing on the streets, who then beg, who will get more money by begging. So Kajol was maliciously blinded, but then she was found, she couldn't sing. That's why she was abandoned. On the train station, our foundation found her. In the beginning of the movie Sight, you saw that. We brought her to America. So movie Sight is about Kajol's remarkable journey to try to come from darkness to light. This is Kajol's eye, completely scarred. There's no treatment. No treatment. So I started my journey to help her, and people say, why you spend so much time on helping these kids, blind orphan children? My answer is very simple. Because when I see them live in the darkness today, I can feel what they feel. Because I used to be in darkness myself. During Cultural Revolution in China, I saw no future as a teenager. So I want to help them get out of their darkness today. Through much research, we realized that a fetus does not scar. Before birth, all of us used to be able to heal without scar. But moment of birth, that's the dividing line. After birth, we start healing with scar, fibrosis. But the question is, how can you do research on an unborn child, a fetus, without hurting that baby? But if you don't do research, how can you advance medicine to help these blind patients who have scarring in the eye? So that brings up the big question that do science and faith have common ground? So much praying, and even I truly believe God wants us to find that common ground. Even publish a book, Common Ground Bible Study. This is a 5-week Sunday school study. To show that God wants Christians to be common ground seekers, but also He wants us to learn how to find common ground. So, lots of churches are studying this book right now because they're citing scripture stories and using Jesus, His life, to demonstrate. Because Jesus is the best common ground seeker. He sought common ground with us as human beings. He traded places by becoming one of us to feel our pain, suffer what we suffer. That's ultimate trading places. He demonstrated empathy towards people in the lowest rung of society. Nobody wants to talk to that lady by the well. Christ did. He paid the ultimate price by dying for our sin at the cross. And finally, He actually sought that common ground with human beings. So to be a Christian is to be Christ-like. To be a Christian is to develop the capacity to love another person despite the difference. To be a Christian is to learn the methodology, how to find the common ground. When we meet someone who has different faith or religion, different political viewpoints, different life viewpoints. Today, we as Christians often are not doing a good job. Some of the Christians are some of the worst polarizers in our society. Yelling and shouting, demonizing the other side. God does not want us to do that. He wants us to do what we call SALT principle, S-A-L-T. When we meet someone with different life opinions, different political persuasions, different religion, faith, or no faith, He wants us to apply the SALT principle, S-A-L-T, talk about in the book. S, start a conversation. A, ask a question. L, listen. Then and only then, talk. S-A-L-T. So applying the common ground seeking spirit, I truly believe God wants science and faith to work together. Want me to do research on the fetus to figure out how to heal without scar, to benefit cajole, but don't hurt the baby, the fetus. Through much praying, we realized that maybe we can use this amniotic membrane that's surrounding us before birth. Every one of us was surrounded by amniotic membrane in mother's womb. So the thinking is perhaps the reason that an unborn child can heal without scar has to do with the membrane, secreting some kind of chemical factors. That's why after birth we heal with scar, fibrosis, because we lose the amniotic membrane protection. So I went to hospitals. I saw these row of mothers ready to give birth to children, big tummy, sitting there. I said, can I have that placenta afterwards? Then they all looked at me. They said, young man, you can have it. We don't need it. So I got these bloody placentas. Everybody's thrown away. Brought them back to the laboratory, and I teased out this thin saran wrap membrane, which is the amniotic membrane that all of us used to be surrounded by. And I started doing research, and eventually I found this membrane magical because I developed the amniotic placenta contact lens. When you put this on the injured eyes, which are about to scar, right? The eye will behave as if it were not born yet. Before birth, what we used to do, all of us, we used to heal without scar. And that makes a difference between blindness and seeing to the eyeball. And then I asked myself a question. This is my pattern on the amniotic membrane contact lens. I said, did I really invent the amniotic membrane? Interestingly, I concluded no. Because I did not invent the placenta. I did not invent the amniotic membrane. As a scientist and a Christian, God has given me the precious little opportunity to catch a little glimpse of part of His original creation. Glory goes to where glory belongs. So what I did, many of my friends said, oh, that's stupid. I donated my patent. I put it online. Instantaneous, eye doctors from around the world knows this technology right away. And I even went around the world, about 50-some countries, taught without charging over 10,000 eye doctors how to use it. Today, amniotic membrane contact lens, this technology has helped millions of patients. It's a $5 billion a year industry today. And eye doctors from nearly every nation are using it. Millions have been helped. Some of my friends say, oh, Ming, but you're not very smart. You did not make any money because I donated my patent in the beginning. My answer is that I think I did what God wanted me to do, to recognize. As a scientist, we cannot be too big-headed. Oh, I discovered this, I discovered that. As a scientist and a Christian, I realize that I'm very lucky to be given this opportunity to see a little corner of God's creation. We have to remain humble, knowing who is the truly creator is. As we get older, our eyes get drier. This patient, 70-some years old, get dry and dry, pain, couldn't see, age-related dryness. We put the amniotic contact lens on her. She's very happy. So amniotic membrane contact lens is not only a technology that transformed the world, but also shows along the theme what I'm talking about tonight. Science and faith should work together. There's a way to advance science, fetal research, stem cell research, but at the same time, protecting human lives. It's not going to be easy. Right thing to do often is not easy. But that's what God wants us to do. Advanced medicine, improving the quality of lives, and protecting our faith at the same time. So our Vision Institute on West End Avenue, we have some of the best technologies because of my dual training, MD and PhD. And I did lots of research. This is an example of research. I published a paper in the journal Nature. I used to serve on FDA ophthalmic device panels, approving all the technologies that United States use. We're training surgeons worldwide. We performed the world's first laser artificial cornea implantation. I published 10 textbooks because I realized I'm very lucky to be an MD, but also have a PhD, which is very few of us in the world. So I want to help surgeons worldwide to improving the technology. I was talking to President Patton during dinner, is that there's a technology to fix older guys like us, forever young lens. But interestingly, the technology is only used by about 1 or 2% of US surgeons today. 98% are not using it because they need to change their mind, they need to learn new things. So I'm using these textbooks to help them. Doesn't matter what your age is. We are affected by these 6 eye conditions sometime in our lives. Myopia, nearsightedness, you can't see far. Hyperopia, farsightedness, you cannot see near and nor far. Astigmatism, you heard that term. You say, is it good? No, it's an evil word. But what does that mean? You can't see through astigmatism, astigmatic eyes. It simply means your eyeball shaped like American football rather than basketball. So I got the laser to shape your football back into basketball. That's the correction of astigmatism. Presbyopia, that's the short arm syndrome after age 45, you can't read things up close. And the cataract. And the dry eyes, of course, you learn amniotic membrane contact lens can fix dry. In year 2026, I have good news to report to you. All of these conditions are treatable now in human society. With what technology? With the top-line laser technology, 4 of them, only less than 5% of US surgeons are using it today. These are 4 technologies. You can take a picture of it if you want to ask a question later. So you say, what's that surgery? So weekly we do these vision zooms, this upcoming Tuesday, every Tuesday. SMILE is a technology making LASIK obsolete. LASIK's going out of date now. We use a small incision. I can do the whole surgery with 2 millimeters. When I finish surgery, you didn't even know I did anything. No pain. Doctor, when you're done, I'm done. You're sitting up, you go home. And the implantable contact lens, if you wear contact lenses, and you don't want to take the contact lens at bedtime, you're lazy, you're supposed to take it off. Okay, remember? Reminding of the hygiene, otherwise you're going to develop ulcers if you don't take contact lens out when you sleep in them. But many of my patients are lazy, they don't want to take the contact lens out. I've got technology now, put the contact lens inside your eye. You never need to remove it. For every young lens, for older person like President Patton and me, we have a technology to fix over age 45, short arm syndrome, without lengthening the arm, and the laser carrier surgery. I'm going to just show you 3 things. SMILE. This $1 million laser is actually making LASIK surgery obsolete now. All laser technology.
Welcome back, everybody. Imagine that you've needed to wear glasses for 20 years, and then one day you no longer need them. Sounds hard to believe, but it's been an actuality for one local woman. Margaret Coleman has spent the last 20 years wearing glasses, and she struggled with vision issues.
I look at screens all day, I'm emailing, I'm on my phone, and I'm oftentimes really sensitive to the light, and I get headaches and have a lot of pressure on my temples. I've been getting migraines. I also like to snorkel, been wanting to dive and have never made the plunge because of that. So making it a lot easier to do that for me would be life-changing.
Now, earlier this week, Margaret underwent a breakthrough laser vision correction procedure. It's called SMILE. It was performed by Dr. Ming Wang at the Wang Vision 3D Cataract and LASIK Center. Now, the surgery is minimally invasive. It's the first breakthrough in laser vision correction in the last 25 years.
SMILE has 3 distinct advantages compared with LASIK. Number 1, it's minimally invasive. Number 2, it causes less dry eye. And number 3, it has less post-op complication, such as those that are related to flaps.
Now, the Wang Vision 3D Cataract and LASIK Center is the first and only center in Tennessee to offer SMILE surgery. We got a chance to see the incredible work of Dr. Ming Wang when he did Margaret's procedure. We even got to be there for the big reveal.
Here's a moment of truth. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay, all right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, blink, blink, blink. Look around. Look over there. Dr. Jack, can you see?
Clear as a bell.
Wow, isn't it amazing? Congratulations. Congratulations. Wow.
So the lower left corner is implantable contact lens. I put the contact lens inside your eye. You never need to remove it.
Married with your husband for how many years?
Almost 12.
Almost 12 years. So up until this point, without any optical correction, you really cannot see him clearly, right, across the room like this.
No.
So now, after EVO lens, you will be able to see him clearly, how he really look like.
Yeah.
I hope you like what you see.
Yeah, hopefully.
But after 12 years, it may be too late to change it.
Yeah.
Implantable contact lens offer better vision quality, less dry eye, reversibility. If you don't like it, you can take the lens out, and also can correct wider range of vision problems. In addition, it offers UV protection, protect against cataract. 3, 2, 1. Open both eyes. Blink, 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 blink. Go around. Easy. Yes? Isn't it amazing?
Do I have to cry?
So for older guys like me and President Patton, you know, like punching bag, we have the short arm syndrome treatment. So we can improve the distance and near. Amazing thing is, it's like rewinding clock. I told President Patton that he will feel after surgery like 25 years old again. He can read distance, no glasses. But even more magical, not only rewind the clock, we can actually stop the clock. So he'll remain, the reading ability, 25 forever. He could be 99 years old. He can still read things without reading glasses. You said, really? That is here? Technology is here? I'll show you. That's what we feel like sometimes.
And now, this Fox 17 Medical Minute.
As we get older, the lens inside the eyeball gets more rigid. We lose the range of vision. That's why as we get older, we have to push things further and further away to read. That's a condition called presbyopia. So presbyopia is an age-dependent loss of reading ability up close. 3D Forever Young lens surgery has enabled our 40 to 65-year-olds reduce their dependence on reading glasses.
Once I found out that I thought Dr. Wang was the best person to go to, I came to the Vision Center and literally went through every machine here. So, I mean, it's just a beautiful experience to come here and be able to see well after it's done.
So 3D Forever Young lens surgery consists of laser lens surgery, laser astigmatism correction, and 3D technology for surgery, and intraoperative wavefront smart eye surgery technology. So now with the 3D Forever Young lens surgery, when light comes to the eye of a patient with presbyopia, they're able to read things up close once again, restoring their accommodative function.
Really wonderful I had the surgery. I can't express enough how happy I am with it. I am working now, and I can read the blueprints, and just it's just better all the way around.
3D Forever Young lens surgery has enabled our 40 to 65-year-olds to reduce their dependence on glasses or bifocals. We're proud to be the first center and only center in Tennessee that offers 3D Forever Young lens surgery.
So the range of age for forever young surgery used to be 40 to 65. Now, upper limit is even further. It's 107. So anybody under 107 we can fix. And the last one is cataract surgery. I will not show you the video. And cataract surgery, believe it or not, can be done with laser. Much better, safer, or blade. But laser is much better. But then you say, isn't cataract surgery all performed with laser? No, only 5% in America by laser. 95% are still by blade today in America. Advanced country like us. It's because the technology is so fast driven, the doctors have to learn new things. And that's part of New College, right? To inspire you, to be curious, learning new things. Don't stay status quo. But at our center, we use these technologies, not 5%, 100%. We're leading the country in the percent of laser application in surgery. So this is our team. So our patients are from all over the world, and living in Music City, USA, have my share of star patients like Dolly Parton and others. Our foundation has been around for a long time because it's what God inspired purpose for me, to use my knowledge, MD, PhD, whatever, to help those who need the most help. Remember I said during Cultural Revolution, I had to learn, play the Chinese violin, erhu, and dancing to escape labor camp. Now I use these hobbies to help my medical work. I invented a concept called the eyeball. Raise money to help people see. It's beautiful. You see this, but when you see the beautiful dancing, it reminds you how precious human sight is. Without sight, how miserable a person will be, and therefore how much we need to help those who have lost sight. Even the erhu, Chinese violin I learned during Cultural Revolution, the escape labor camp, now become a hobby also. I use the instrument to connect East and West, connecting people. So finally, I just want to touch upon it. You say, okay, Dr. Wang, it's wonderful, faith and science, common ground. But can we find common ground in other areas of life? I want to show you a few examples that I've been having some luck in finding common ground in a very, very divided, polarized country today. Because we need to figure out, finding common ground is a Christ-inspired concept. Be a Christian is to be a common ground seeker, is to be able to demonstrate we can love another person despite the difference by finding that common ground. We built a Common Ground Network, a nonprofit organization to study, and we established Common Ground Seeking Steps, STPS. S, see the common ground. When you meet someone with different lifestyles, if you're unwilling to see there's a common ground, you'll never find it. T, trading places. Speaking the language of listener. Trade places. E, empathy. Remember I said SALT principle, S-A-L-T. When you meet someone different, don't just jump in and talk. S-A-L-T. Start a conversation, ask a question, listen, and then only then talk. Perseverance, pay the price. If the right thing to do, there's a price to pay. And finally, seek common ground. You got to do it, not just talking about it. Do you know who inspired us to build this common ground seeking steps? It's none other than Jesus Christ himself. Think about Christ's few decades of life on this planet. S, he saw the common ground with us as human beings. T, he traded places by becoming one of us. That's the ultimate common ground seeking. Physically, by becoming one of us, to feel what we feel, to feel our pain. He demonstrated empathy, as I said, to the people in the lowest rung of society, women by the well. Nobody wants to talk to her. Christ did. Pay the price, persevere. He paid the ultimate price by dying for our sin at the cross. Finally, he just not just talking about. He inspired his disciples. You know, Matthew 18, right? Disciple the nation. So to be a Christian is to be a common ground seeker. To study the Bible is to study how to find that common ground through common ground Bible studies. Now, I'm just going to finally close by showing you a few examples. 12 years ago, I gathered a group of Latin Americans, African Americans, Asian Americans, businessmen and women. I said, what's the common ground we have? We're from different culture, different nation, different ethnicities. Our common ground there is for help each other in business. So what kind of common ground you find with people depending on who that person is? So this is an example. You're all welcome to come to Tennessee Immigrant Minority Business School Quarterly Forum, September 10th. This one is about immigrant entrepreneurs. This organization is growing. Last forum, we have over 100 people. All business owners. As a white person, you come, you'll be a minority for change, which is good. That's what Americans are becoming, right? We have to be inclusive, be willing to work across racial barriers. I'm a member of the 970 Society, and our common ground there is to put the Constitution back in the hands of every 8th graders. Because what's America? Especially to an immigrant who used to not have freedom. I truly realize America is about these two cornerstones, Constitution and the Bible. That's what America is. We cannot forget the definition of our great country. So our 970 Society, our common ground there is to put Constitution back in the hands of 8th graders. I'm a member of the Bethel Church. We have 71 countries represented. Our common ground there, it doesn't matter what country you come from, we all love Christ. And we're talking about Living Sand Ministry. I invite the President and Dean to our September 22nd annual banquet. Our common ground there is to apply Scripture Monday through Friday. Many years ago, I want to pray with my patients because I want to apply faith to my work. But people say, no, don't pray because non-Christian patient will be offended. They will not come back to you, Dr. Wang. So I was a little afraid. Oh, maybe I shouldn't pray. But then I asked my leaders in the organization and said, yeah, if it's the right thing to do, there's a price to pay. I said, Christ paid the price, dying for our sin. I can pay little price of some offending some non-Christian patient by praying. So I decided to go out limb. I've done 55,000 surgeries now. Every single patient in my career, I pray before the surgery. But as a scientist, I always do studies, right? So I really want to know, they say between Christian and non-Christians, no common ground. Up to Christians, I want to pray. Up to non-Christian patients, he or she does not want me to pray. Is that true? Is there truly no common ground? So I did a study. Over a 2-year period, I collected several hundred patients I knew they were not Christians. And I prayed with all of them. And the next day, I collect these few hundred patients. I did a study. I asked one question: were you offended? Because I prayed for you yesterday before the surgery. So all of them answered this way. All of them said, Dr. Wang, yesterday I was really, indeed, very nervous. I was on your laser table. I was, my eye surgery is coming. Nervous. And you did come to my ear because I was told I need to be politically correct. I'm supposed to ask for permission. So you did come to my ear, said, Nancy, is it okay we pray for you? Honestly, Dr. Wang, I was underneath your laser. You're my surgeon. I didn't dare to say no to my surgeon. And I said, oh, well, I kind of took advantage of the situation, I guess. But I took advantage for God. It's okay. But my question is really, my question is, were you offended? That's the core of my question. Because remember, they say there's no common ground between Christian and non-Christians. Up to Christian want to pray. Up to non-Christian, they don't want to pray. What they told me stayed to this day, and which is the theme of tonight's Common Ground talk. All of them said, Dr. Wang, not only I was not offended, I was moved when you prayed for me. I said, how could you be moved when you don't believe who I believe, Jesus Christ? And all of them said this way: the reason I was moved, Dr. Wang, when you prayed to your Christ, is because in one of my most important moments in my life, which is my eye surgery, I don't want anything to go wrong. You brought something that is most important to you. I appreciate that. In that moment, I realized it's the love for fellow human being that is our ultimate common ground. I'm part of American Bible Project, and I've been the Founders Club president since the beginning. Our goal, common ground there, is to put the Bible back in school. You say, how could that be possible? Private Christian church, possible, but how about public school? Guess what? You want to know the result? We have succeeded in putting Bible back in school in America in over 1,000 schools now. Most of them public schools. You say, how did you do it? The Bible says, what is it? Wise as, you want to be smart. We identify a first America printed Bible, and we put the Bible back in school as a relic of teaching American Revolution. And with Down in Canada, we educate suburban women about stand up for our definition of our great country, our Constitution and the Bible. And finally, I give this talk, by the way, if you know any churches that are interested, because I think God wants me to carry this mission, find the common ground between faith and science. And this is a part of the Kiwanis Club. I'm very humbled by their recognition. And I teach at Trevecca University. Take a picture of this if you want to. On your table, there's a little book, and it's called Shiban Gongbei. Your Mandarin may be a little rusty. You may not remember what that means. It means on the back, it's accomplished double in half the time. So I said, oh, I would like that. Those. I can get my 8th grade with half of the effort, right? 77 little pearls I learned from people a lot more smarter than me. So once a month, I give a little Zoom. And you're welcome to come to this Zoom. Oh, by the way, on your table, these are your gifts. Take it with you. Now, if you're not going to read it, don't take it. If you're going to read it at least a little bit, you take it. This book, Shiban Gongbei, this book, based on which the movie is made. And also the Tennessee Immigrant Minority Business Group, you're welcome to come to meet African Americans, Asian Americans, Latin Americans, different race. And this movie site has the free link. And so that's the monthly Zoom I do. So in summary, science is a tool. Faith is the purpose. Science is necessary, but not sufficient. To have a purpose-driven life, you have to have faith. For me, it's Jesus Christ. The faith in him tells me what to do with my medical training, is to help those who need the most help. So I wrote my experience in the autobiography book, and which made in the movie. This last video show you Andrew Studio Film site.
I'm going to help you see again.
You said it was impossible. Ah, there he is, the good doctor. You're going to be on the cover of the Tennessee Herald tomorrow morning. You may get a date out of this.
No, that picture.
Very funny one.
Our pro bono office got a call from India. A little girl, 6 years old.
Apparently, street beggars make more money if they're legitimately blind. So the stepmother poured sulfuric acid in each of her eyes.
I'm going to help you see again, Kajan.
Is it true that multiple doctors declared your patient irreversibly blind?
Yes, I developed this new breakthrough technology. Here we go. Do you see the light?
No. I can't see anything.
I have this patient from India. She reminds me of some things in the past that I can't get over.
The present is made possible by the past.
A long time ago back in China, there was an uprising in my hometown. Many bad things happened.
So we came to America.
Yes.
It's hard getting into medical school, but you coming from China, don't waste your time.
You cannot change the past, Ming. I feel like I'm stuck.
Hello, doctor. This is Maria.
We want to give her a chance to see again.
I don't even know if I can perform surgery anymore. I left you.
Stop it. You need to just let go.
I just don't want Maria to end up like Kajan.
We can only do our best. I'm with you, Ming. We can do this.
I refuse to believe there is no purpose. I will be praying for you.
Kajal is teaching me that there's more to life than what you see. We have to keep going.
Thought you said it was impossible.
Can you see yourself, Maria?
I'm so pretty.
And I have a little favor to ask. On your way out, Percy at the door will give you a little few of these blue free movie site link brochure. Just give to friends. More people watch this film via this free link, and more will be aware of our foundation's work in helping blind orphan children. So more of these kids could be helped. So literally by passing the free link, you're actually helping foundation. Actually, I was talking to Dean Nathan and President Patton. Maybe I'll come back. Let's have a movie night. Why not, right? Let's have some fun. I'll bring the movie, we'll show like this, and you invite your friends, you know, and let them have a visit of New College, see what you are teaching here, mission of common ground seeking. So maybe we'll do that movie night at some point. And so, summary, God has created me. God has died for my sin. And he wants me to have the knowledge that he has created me is for a reason. That is, he wants me to have his inspired, God-inspired purpose for my life. God is going to give you different purpose depending on what you do. You could be architect, you could be accountant, different. May not be doing eye surgeries. And for me, as an eye surgeon, God wants me to help those who need the most help with my medical training and also find that common ground between faith and science. So if you want the book, you know, you can also donate if you want to, that or anybody else that, but the most important is we'll give you a little, on your way out, you can give to friends, people who didn't have the chance to come. And we have the Vision Zoom, if you want to learn, this coming Tuesday, every Tuesday. So, 3 takeaways. God has created us. The complexity of the eye proves that. Even Darwin himself admitted. He has died for our sin at the cross, resurrection. He wants us to know these is because he has a specific purpose, a God-inspired purpose for our lives. So the action plan. What is God-inspired purpose for you beyond what you normally do for living? God's going to give different purposes. You have to study your science. You got to be good. But science is only tools. Christ will give us the purpose. But what is that purpose? Beyond, the key word is beyond what you normally do. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you. We're going to have two students come up, pull the table back about feet or two, and we're just going to pull back. I'm going to hold up the wire so you can go that way.
Do you want us to pull all the way off stage or
Just like a little bit back. Yeah. Perfect. That's perfect. Good. Good enough. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Wang. That was a real treat. I've just got two questions and then open it up for the audience. So one has to do with, I'd love to hear a little bit more, and if you could share more of just insight into the history of the Cultural Revolution, and then how your background from China has given you a new, like a different vision on what we have in America, and why, like what you said, it's so important to understand what we have.
Great question. Cultural Revolution is a crazy period of time where government shut down all universities and colleges in China and forcefully deport every one of you to labor camp for life. Why government did that? Because for dictator, people with knowledge, education is a threat. Irrelevance to our country. Ladies and gentlemen, let's think about what the problem we're facing as a nation today. Gun violence, opioid crisis, environmental disaster, racial tension, poverty, education, healthcare, jobs. We're not focusing on addressing these problems that America faces to truly restore our nation. It's because we're so busy dividing ourselves. Oh, you're white, you're Asian, you're Latino, oh, you're Republican, you're Democrat. And the symptoms of division is a symptom reflecting a deeper problem. That is, since we always have had freedom and faith in America, we, just like human nature, we always have something we do take for granted. We have taken America for granted. So my Cultural Revolution experience, the movie Sight, is send a message to all of us in America today. Essentially, it's a message from someone who used to be blind to share with all of you who can see how precious sight is. Sometimes when you could see, you kind of don't realize how precious sight is. I'm someone, through the movie Sight, used to not have freedom during Cultural Revolution. So I want to share with you all how precious freedom is. And loving America is not just something we say, we sing a national anthem. That's not enough. Loving America is an action. That is, are we willing to no longer fixate on differences among us? Are we willing to see what we have in common? Are we willing to look at the cup is, America is not a perfect country, we know that, we got our problems, but are we willing to look at the cup is half full rather than being fixated the cup is half empty, complaining about it? Are we willing to put the country and God and country above the interest of everything else in America? That's the relevance of the movie Sight.
Thank you. So I think the sense that I get is that a lot of Christians are really concerned about both science and technology. So you see a lot of scientists approaching science as an attempt to master and control nature, to take it toward certain ends that seem well beyond what God has intended for us, often through very immoral means. And then we see with the advance of technology, a lot of different technologies seem to have the promise of making life better, but in fact make life a lot worse. And now with AI technology that's kind of proliferating and increasing dramatically, there's a sense in which things are getting really scary with the advance of technology. So there can be a sense in which science, technology, that can be a boogeyman for a lot of people. Your message is that we need more Christians involved in advancing science and technology. So I wondered if you could speak just a little bit more to the vital importance of having Christians be at the forefront of technological developments, scientific developments, rather than us kind of running away from that because it's so dangerous.
Great question again. The way I looked at it is very simple. Will technology be continued developed, AI more advanced, calculation faster, better cell phones, better communication? Whether we like it or not, it will be. It's a certainty. The question is not whether science will be more advanced or not. The question is obvious, it will. Entire human history is advancement, science, and technology. The question is really not if science should be allowed to be more advanced. It will, whether you like it or not. The question is, are we going to take the high ground, the moral high ground, to really guide the science and technology? So the question is, should we be educating ourselves so that we can better guide human genetics, stem cell research, femtosecond laser, the AI, all these things? Or are we going to let those people with devious purposes, amoral purposes, control our lives? So that's really the question. We have no option. Science will develop, whether we like it or not. The question is, are we going to lead it? Are we going to shape it? Are we going to influence it? Are we going to guide it with our moral ethical principles so they become a nuclear power plant rather than atomic bomb? So I encourage all students, great liberal college here, I talked to dean and president, it's wonderful. You are well-rounded, you have what, small class, 15 students. I want to apply for college, be a student here, because 15, I went to this school like in Boston, thousands of students, I mean, that's amazing resources. You have interactive, you have this the dynamic learning process. So if I were you, I would, at your age today, I would say, you know what? Science will go, will continue. And I don't want become irrelevant. Not only that, as a Christian, I have a responsibility to lead it and guide it and shape it so that the science, this double-edged sword, does not commit some of the potential atrocities such as Hiroshima, atomic bomb.
Thank you. All right, we're going to open it up for questions. I don't think we need to pass the mic around, just project, and if you stand and project, that would probably be even better.
You must have some questions. Any question about I, about...
Dr. Wang, thank you for being here. I would like to ask a follow-up question to Dr. Johnson's questions on technology and ask if you think that Christians can be at the forefront of all technology, or if there's some technologies which are intrinsically malicious or bad or harmful to human nature, which humans should lead in the sense of developing more and more, but should lead in the sense of curbing the development. Do you think that's a possible?
Great question. Great question. The question is, should we take the high ground of critical new technology, potentially, more deleterious effect if not used appropriate? And I agree. That's a prioritization. The fastest developing field of our time in 2026, based on the sheer size of that industry's, the value of the product it made, is number one, AI. Number two is genetic engineering, stem cell research, aging, 5 leading causes of human mortality today: stroke, cancer, cardiovascular disease, dementia, systemic medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension. Yes, let's take all 5 key issues, because these are leading causes of mortality. Then technologies tend to be fastest developing. We should prioritize ourselves. Christians should be the leaders in all major industries. And that's what I find. My pastor and I had this God's Not Dead talk across American campuses. And we always do the tag team. He talk about faith, scripture, I talk about science. And he wanted me to be involved every time that I have time, because if you don't know stem cell, you cannot talk about stem cell. You will not be allowed a seat in the table. So we have to be as good as any of the atheist scientists. We should be even better, so that we are given the ability to understand what the truly issue is. Only understanding truly what it is, be the forefront of their scientific field, can we have the ability to shape it and change it. Any other questions?
Hello. Thank you so much for being here as well. In the beginning, you made some comments about AI, about how Christians should lead in that area, and also how you considered it potentially more dangerous than an atomic bomb.
Yes.
So I suppose my 2 questions were like, 1, how would Christians lead in it? 2, what about it makes it so dangerous? What are the dangers of it?
Yeah. Great question. The question is why AI has the potential to be a million times more destructive than atomic bomb. Atomic bomb, as destructive it is, like Hiroshima, you burn up the whole city instantaneously. Hundreds of thousands of people die. And to this day, we are playing this game right now, human race, that the goal is never ever to use the bomb again. But AI is orders of magnitude more destructive, because the dependence we have on AI technology as human lives. Let me ask you, one thing in what you have in your life, let's say you go to a new city, you go to a new place, you visit a friend, you do something. One thing when that is not there, that's going to make you the most nervous. It's not going to be your shoes. It's not going to be even your wallet. It may not be even your keys. It's your cell phone. We are so dependent. A friend of mine visited me, left, and I thought he took my cell phone away accidentally. I don't remember his number. I couldn't call him. I no longer have a station line. Even if I go to a gas station, I don't know his number. How are you going to get hold of him? He lives in another state. I realized my existence was threatened at that instant when I lost that cell phone. So that's just an example that we are only becoming more and more and more and more dependent on technology, AI. And watch out, Iran is about to do something. They've been preparing for decades. They're going to use AI, scramble our water supply. Can you imagine some toxins injected into our water supply because misregulation of chemical cleaning agents? Can you imagine we completely lose all our contact through electronic internet, complete dead for a month? The wide scale, the width, the scale, and the depth of scale of paralysis is no nuclear bomb can ever be prepared. At this critical juncture, we have to recognize it's not a question whether we should help or not helping AI development. It will develop. As long as something will make money, people will develop. That's human nature. It is about recognize the inevitable, which is AI is going to go there. Can we get ahead of it and lead it? Use what we have, which is moral ethical behavior of human being, the moral standard, or we will be at mercy of those evil people. So the question is not AI will develop now. The question is not whether we should help or we stop it. You can't stop it. It will be there. The question is only, should we charge forward, become expert in the area, so that we can have an opportunity to shape it, guide it. Any other questions?
What is the role of wonder in the work that you do?
Oh, great question. What's the world wonder in the work I do? The reason I became an eye doctor was after I came to America, I studied laser physics, got a PhD, and I was going to be a laser physicist. And then I was with a group of people, and we met this blind person, 50-some years old. And we're chatting, and she was telling us how her life, she was born blind. So all of a sudden, an idea occurred to me. I asked her, I said, so you were born blind? She said, yeah, I never see anything. I said, so what does red mean to you? What does blue mean to you? And she paused for a while, and she said, blue means something cold and slippery. Red means something warm and fluffy. So in that instant, I recognized that she has replaced her absence vision sense with tactile temperature. I realized that as a human being, think about this, if you live through your life without eyesight, how devastating it is. So the wonder of my work every day is bring someone out of that darkness, as like Brown orphan child that at the end, Maria screamed that, I'm so beautiful. She had never seen herself. To enable human being to recover their eyesight. That's the wonder of my work. That's the moment that Maria saw was I live for, with tons of decades of hard work and research, dedication. It's all worth it for that moment when she screamed. Any other questions? I understand you all, many of you, I was talking to the dean that, wide range of choice of professions? From science pre-med to engineering to be a pastor, and wonderful, well-rounded. I do have one suggestion, that if I put myself in your shoes. In school, you learn knowledge. Knowledge is logical. It's 1 + 1 = 2. But what I've learned, the world is driven only 10% by logics. 90% of our lives is driven by emotion, feelings, intuition, insight, relationship. So I encourage all of you, while you are studying knowledge, the logics, the mathematics, physics, chemistry, all these things, scripture, start thinking. When you graduate from college, get into real life, it is this other dimension, which is much more important. It's 90% of our lives, which is about human relations, emotions, insight, intuition. That's going to run your life. So that means start now. Start learning the relationship with your fellow classmates. Start learning how to influence people, like Dale Carnegie. Start to learn, I don't like that guy, but Dale Carnegie said, if you have good things to say, say it. If you don't have good things to say, just shut up. That's emotion, that's intuition, that's common sense. It's only those students who see what's coming after graduation. The real world is run by understanding of human feelings. The earlier you realize, more you start training yourself by working with fellow students. Ask yourself, can I be a team leader? Can I develop good relationship with my fellow students? My 十万公倍 little book talk about a guy I met in Harvard Medical School, Jeff. He always get people to do things for him. It may drive me crazy. I found one day, I said, Jeff, tell me, how'd you do that? How'd you develop a relationship with the other? The moment I ask somebody who doesn't want to do anything for me, but when you ask, he will do it. You know what he said? He said, Ming, nobody asked this question to me. Since you asked, I will share with you. I found if I want Johnny to do something for me, I do as much as I can first. When Johnny sees that for my thing I'm asking him to help, I already done the best I could, that means this is really important for me. And he will do it, and also less he has to do, more likely he will do it for me. Rather than some bookish behavior, hey, Johnny, help me with this. Oh, Ming, what have you done yourself? Nothing, but it's very important for me. That's lack of common sense. How can something's important to you where you have done nothing yourself? I'm just giving you one example, a flavor of the little black book you have. All 77 of these pearls are real-life experiences. So life is driven by emotion, not just by logic. Logic is only 10%. The little elephant rider, 90%. Jonathan Haidt, Righteous Mind, is the elephant. So learn about human emotion, using college as a ground to learn your leadership skill, learn your influencing skill, learn your ability to work with another person, learn your ability to find a common ground. It's not overnight, it's a skill. Start now. Human emotion relationship.
Well, thank you so much. Please join me again in thanking Dr. Ming Wang.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So Dr. Wang is going to